So we just gonna link every wide receiver to the Raiders. I mean, like we don't want nobody. If we wanted somebody, we would have already got somebody. Man, pull up. Let's talk about it for one last time. But I do have Raider Twuan with me. So welcome to Bart. Next stop, Adam Schefter Street.
Which team, by colors alone, is identifiable around the world?
The autumn wind is a Raider.
Which team, by slogan, commitment to excellence?
Pillaging just for fun.
Just win, baby.
He'll knock you round.
All those things
Then upside down
are the Raiders.
and laugh when he's conquered and won.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win.
He's blowing up. Raiders!
Just win, baby.
Yo, what's good in your hood? It's your boy Black, the quarterback, and I'm back with another installation of the Bay Area Raiders Talk. And I'm in the building with the chaplain himself, Raider Twuan. If y'all don't know him, y'all need to know him because he's been a permanent fixture around here. So make sure y'all go to his channel and subscribe to the channel. But we're talking wide receivers for the last. I'm not about to go through this. I'm not about to go through this with y'all, but one more time. So check this out, y'all. This is what I heard, and this is what I'm responding to once again.
About bringing Jalen Naylor in free agency, but that is a young group that doesn't have a lot of experience. Are you hearing anything about the Raiders and veteran wide receivers?
Well, I don't think that they're pressing for him, but it certainly wouldn't be a surprise. And Hawk brings up Stephon Diggs. But you take a look at the wide receivers out there right now. Clearly, they're not getting the money they want. But it is a decorated group. And yes, there's age and injury question marks. But think about some of the names at the free agent position who are now available. Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins. Brandon Ayuk is trying to talk his way out of San Francisco. Keenan Allen. There are a lot of high-profile wide receivers on the street. So if the Raiders decide that they want to go add one, there's certainly no shortage of all these players who are just waiting to see if they could try to get more money before they come back.
Yes. So there's a lot of high-profile wide receivers, but they're not signed for a reason. For a reason. And part of it is because they're trying to get their money on, trying to get their money on. But I don't think that we're that desperate that we need to break bread on any of these receivers. But we're going to go through these receivers, and I'm going to rank them from the least attractive to the most attractive, saying if we were to sign somebody, I have one wide receiver that I could think of. One. Let's see if you guys can get it in the chat who you think I would guess. No, who you would guess that I would pick. So I do have one wide receiver that I'm willing to break bread on, but not that much bread, not the whole loaf. I just need like a few slices. You feel me? So Raider Twuan, brethren, what do you think about the reports that's coming out about us needing another one of these high-profile wide receivers?
Man, it's the downtime. You know, they definitely got a hook. These guys are just trying to make up things to say. Right now, you know what I'm saying? The guys that are free agents are bargain bin guys. Bargain bin guys have a myriad of things. There goes the word of the day, myriad. There's a myriad of things that that these wide receivers come with. Remember, these wide receivers are not just wide receivers, but they're also called divas. And a lot of some of these, a good group of some of these wide receivers, the reason why they're still on the market and the reason why they don't have a contract is because they are a diva. Whether that's a good thing or that can be a negative thing. Some of these guys are toxic. Some of these guys are basket cases. Some of these guys need come see the chaplain, to get their mind right. But there's a lot of these guys that when we start looking at some of these names, I'll tell you, there's a problem. There's a liability there, and it's not just their play. It's not just their injury concerns. It's what's in their head and how they maneuver in the streets and how they maneuver in the locker room. That has definitely added a stench to their career.
Boy, you must be hungry because you cooking, boy. I hear you. And Vegas is probably the last place you want to bring a questionable character person, because you can get in any kind of trouble at any kind of time in Vegas, and and sometimes that heat be so hot you just might lose your mind and lose judgment. That's how hot it is. You ever been so hot that you get mad just for no reason because it's just hot? So the last thing we need is a few of these wide receivers finding their way into some trouble. And a lot of these wide receivers, it's not necessarily their play, it's their character that's an issue. And we're bringing in players that have nothing but good character, so we can know what we can rely on. So I don't know what we're going to do about these guys, but we're going to go through them one by one, and I'm going to tell you why, and Twuan going to tell you why we're either with it or without it, and you guys can go ahead and comment along. Furpo, what's good with you, brethren? What's this? Christ-like general, I like that. What's good with you? Let's see. Quakes, you got your people's pulling up. Daniel, what's that say? Daniel Berry Sports Highlight. So thank y'all for hacking in. So
salute to the congregation.
Salute to the congregation and the chat raiders. Let's start with the top of the list. So I went to Sports Track and the available receivers. Number one on the list, the Cheetah. Tyreek Hill. His previous annual was $30 million. He definitely want his guapole. He want his money. Like, it's hard to go from 30 million to like what, 5, 6, 7, 8, even 10, right? But he definitely has got the bag. But I believe he is trying to hold out. But he did have that catastrophic injury. But what I will say is this: he's definitely been working hard to get back. And I know he's still quick, because I seen him in January. Or when was the Super Bowl? Was February, first week of February? Mm-hmm. I seen him the first week, or the Super Bowl weekend, at this private Adidas party, same place I seen Fernando. This fool walked by so fast, right? I didn't see him until he passed me, and I was like, "Oh, Cheetah!" And he was like, and I was like, he even walked fast, and I was like, didn't he just come off a knee injury? Like, he legit is like a real, like, he really, really fast. So I think he'll be able to play this year. And I haven't been hearing a lot about that injury. Because usually when you come from an injury like that, people are kind of cautious. Are you worth the money? And I haven't been hearing a whole lot about that from him. Have you heard anything?
No, but for me, I think it's still a concern. The injury is a concern for me. I've noticed that, even when he was playing with Miami, he wasn't on the field all the time. They were kind of picking and choosing when they wanted to use him. Not saying that the Dolphins had that much talent on their wide receiver room that they could do that. So there was something that they were kind of either shielding, not having him out there, or protecting him from by not giving him all the snaps. So that's one thing that I definitely have a concern with, especially because of the injury. Like, was the injury, was the snaps indication of, his injuries, or how did that play out? And that's my concern in regards to Cheetah.
Yeah, real good point here, Christ. Like it says, his drama never really affected his play on the field, plus he's not injury prone or not known to be. And so I would agree for the most part, right? But he is a distraction. Like, I remember when he got pulled over on the way to the field on game day, and regardless of how it played out, it was a distraction. He's having issues with his child's mom and things like that. So I know the Raiders going to have an issue with him because of, I think he has a DV situation. So, Belinda Carl's daughter, we're not gonna bite on that. So so I'm gonna just tell y'all right now, he's the number one person that's gonna be not a Raider. Like, he's not gonna get signed. Like, I absolutely think he's not gonna get signed at all. So his name, we can throw it out the hat. But I do agree with what you said, because he does come when he's there, he's a problem. You have to account for Cheetah. So I do agree with you for the most part there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So next guy is Stephon Diggs. And Cheetah is 32. So, and then Diggs is 32 as well, 11-year veteran, 21 million. So what do you think about Diggs?
I think that also, I think it goes with Cheetah, the same thing. And I didn't bring that up, but it just adds on to, why I'm kind of not on the Cheetah boat, is because of his age. I think when you look at our team, we're there's a certain age that that Spy Tech is looking at, in regards to how he wants to build out this team, and I don't think those guys fit it. I think those guys are on their last couple of contracts, trying to get with a Super Bowl team, and we're not there yet.
Yeah. Well, now, honestly, like, if taking all the off the field antics aside, I think they can help this team. Does this offense need a diva? Absolutely not. Do you need a wide receiver that's commanding a certain amount of passes or balls thrown at him? Absolutely, we don't. Because, like, we've seen DK Metcalf got shipped out of Seattle. That just proves right there that, hey, look, you either with the program or you're not. And if you're not with the program, we're going to get rid of you. So we don't need like a diva at that position. But if they can come in with a humble, aspect, then I would consider it. But for the same reason, like you say, for Cheetah, Diggs is just a problem, and he still have core issues that he needs to pan out right now.
And we didn't dive deep into it, and I think you kind of what I'm saying, you kind of did a spin move on it real quick. Is the dig 'em Diggs? You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about dig 'em Diggs. You know what I'm saying? Do we need to have a suite for every baby mama? You know what I'm saying? At Allegiant Stadium, like, do we need that type of, attention and does Cardi B need to do every halftime show? You know what I'm saying? Type of situation. Like, so that's another thing we got to look at. There's a lot of it sucks because these guys are, like I said, a lot of these guys are very talented, but they got a whole lot of I'll say it like this, I love Aaliyah, you know what I'm saying? Aaliyah is hecka fine, but the reports came out that the reason why Aaliyah died was because there was too much baggage on the plane. And we might be in a situation where, we bring over a whole lot of baggage, and our plane might fall down.
That's a nice one right there. Justice for 12 says Tyreek basically blew out his whole leg and will not be the same with that explosiveness again. I don't know. I tend to agree with you, but like I said, I seen that boy moving and he was moving. Like, and this was way back in February. So I know there's no way that he was as close as to being healthy. Like, but maybe you're right though. I mean, maybe you're right. I don't know. We'll see this year. I definitely think that's a question that needs to be addressed. Now, as far as Diggs, right? Diggs and all his baby mama drama. I did talk about him earlier, and I want to bring up what I said earlier about Diggs. Let's see what I said. So it's a no for me with Stephon Diggs. But I'm willing to hear you guys out, because the only thing I'm hearing is because of the veteran, the money that we can get him for the cheap, and he might not want to go cheap. But let's see what else his teammates say about him.
The guy in this locker room is most in touch with their feminine side.
Diggs. Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs.
Oh, Stephon Diggs, hands down. Stephon Diggs. That's no question.
I hate these guys, bro.
Hold on. Is that a compliment or no? Like, who's in touch with their feminine? Like, what does that really even mean? Like, who's more in touch with their feminine side? But before you answer that, y'all think about that. Let's see the other part, the second part of this. I don't know what that really means yet. The most feminine too. So not only do you not want them around your sister. How many people know what his court case is about right now? Let me know in the chat. And I see you guys telling me Jennings signed with Minnesota. Thanks, y'all, for letting me know. Yeah, he signed. That's good. Didn't want him. Hold on.
Diggs.
Hold on.
You leave.
Don't take my word for it. Spots of reasons of. Here we go. Just because you work with somebody and left, that doesn't mean they wasn't one of the happy spots of reasons of for you to leave. And they were talking about because Diggs did play with Kirk Cousins, and just because they played together don't mean they enjoyed working with each other. Like, dang, I'm glad I didn't have to deal with that guy anymore. It happens. But don't take my word for it. Take his teammates' word for it.
You least like to date your sister.
What the hell? Diggs.
Oh, Stephon Diggs.
Least I should date my sister, Diggs. 100%.
Well, nobody want me to date this. I'm a great guy. I'm actually a great guy.
There's actually seems to be a few guys that don't think that.
Feel differently about me?
Yeah.
They just don't know me well enough. That's what it is.
So that was his rookie year. That was his rookie year. His teammates was saying.
What was the first question?
The first question is, who in the locker room would you least want to date your sister?
No, the one before that one.
Oh, the first one was, who was more in touch with their feminine side?
You know, the issue is, you know what I'm saying, he be touching too many feminine sides, you know what I'm saying? Feminine backsides, you know what I'm saying? That's the issue, is he might be too in touch with feminine backsides, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is.
I don't know. It might be a little more than that, because the court case that he in right now, he's suing somebody for defamation, and he's suing the dude because the dude said he tried to touch his backside. But that's for another episode. So that's what I'm saying. We don't need Diggs in our locker room, like you said, with the baby mama drama. the Cardi B is although
I
she
mean,
is funny though.
and let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? It's not like we didn't have a guy in the locker room that did touch man's backside. You know what I'm saying? Carl Nassib was a dude that touched men's backside. You know what I'm saying? And they was cool with him, but you know, there's just a certain way that you navigate it in the locker room, and you know, if everybody is having that rapport about you, you know what I'm saying? I think you more than a dog in a mud.
Anymore. Right. So it's no on Diggs, no on Tyreek Hill. We're going from the top to the bottom right now. So the number 3 free agent at 17.5 million is Debo Samuels. He's 7 years in and he's 30 years old. So what do y'all think about Debo Samuels? Samuel. I always gonna say Samuel, like Samuel. Debo Samuel. What's your thoughts about him?
I think at this point he's a name.
Right.
And you know, Black, you can get with me on this because you know you was in the Bay, so you saw the beating that he got playing with the Niners.
Yeah.
That wear and tear, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't just a wide receiver, he was a running back. The way that they played him. You know what I'm saying? So the Debo of old that everybody fell in love with, I don't think he's him. I really don't.
Yeah, you're right. I did get to see him play a lot, like yourself. The thing about him, he was more a gadget player than a wide receiver. He was a player that could play wide receiver and running back. They even structured his contract as such that if you get a certain amount of carries out the backfield, you get certain incentives and things like that. So they, if he were to come here, hypothetically, he would probably get used the same way. And then it's kind of like taken away from what we really need. We need a receiver out there that can play different positions, not a player that can play different positions playing wide receiver, if you understand what I'm saying. So we need a true wide receiver out there playing, not someone that can play the position. And for him, the one thing that I always noticed about him is when they got to the playoff, they used to tattoo Debo. He used to get hurt every year in the playoffs. They used to hit him like it was nobody's business. That's the blueprint to take him out of the game. Just keep hitting him because he's been taking hits all year long, like a running back and a wide receiver. Then all that accumulation of hits, just have him fighting it. To mention, I ain't like the way he dressed a lot of the times. He looked like he needed to be in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think he also had a feminine what was it? Feminine touch. I think he had a feminine touch. You know what I'm saying?
He was in touch with his feminine side too. So, and plus he was a Niner though, so I'm cool on that. Well, no, let me not say that because we did get Crabtree and he came over here and balled out for us, and so there is exceptions to the rule. But Furpo says, sure on Debo, but only if it doesn't cost too much, either in short contract. Yeah. He's at 17.5 million now. I don't know how cheap he'll be, but I just don't like him so much.
And
the way we use
it. And also ask yourself what does Debo have that we don't have? Like what does Debo have that's really going to blow out, blow anything out the water in regards to the other guys we have?
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't block. Well, I'm not knowing him to be known to block. We need receivers to block. But now, to be fair though, he does know the Shanahan system though.
True.
So it's not as far fetched, I guess. But I just don't see him as being a fit because, like I said, I think we need a true wide receiver out there. Because as far as lining them up in the backfield and doing things like that, we're gonna do that with Trey Tucker. We're gonna do that with Naylor. We're gonna do that with even Brock Bowers, I believe. So there's gonna be times that we gonna mix it up. And Debo is a player that usually is on the team where you do all that with just him. So can he come in and create some kind of spacing on the field? Maybe, but I'm also with the same train of thought as you. Is the Debo Samuels that we know that we knew is no longer that guy anymore, because if he was, he would have stayed in Washington.
Mm. Yeah, I was gonna say something else, but we'll leave that for
We'll leave it.
We'll leave for another day, because I was gonna talk about what's going on with the Commanders, but we can move.
Oh, maybe later, because I don't know. One wide receiver that we haven't heard a lot of in his 9th year is Curtis Samuel from Buffalo. $8 million is what he made. I haven't heard a lot about him. Well, you have any thoughts about him? He's about to be 30.
He's been bounced around a lot.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to stick with teams.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah. Definitely not a number one wide receiver.
Maybe that's not. That might be a good thing.
It might be. It might be. I'm just putting it out there.
We're just trying to parse out why he is not being mentioned.
Yeah.
Because he's on the list before DeAndre Hopkins, who's next. And he made $5 million. He was at Baltimore, but he's 13 years in the league, and he's 34. So, D Hop is definitely not the receiver that he used to be. He used to be a threat, and he used to catch everything, and he was a problem. But he bounced around because he went to the Chiefs, then he went to the Ravens. And so is that somebody you think is viable for this team?
It's funny that like those just D Hop, it's just ironic that we got two players in the league that played with each other that are both trying to reclaim themselves in the league. D Hop and then Watson over in Cleveland. I think Watson. Hop. Is a veteran. I think he's a good locker room guy. It would be the Bob Barker situation. It would have to be if the price is right, because he is that old, and I don't think the window fits. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. If he was a person to be kind of more like a mentor, because there's things that D Hop does or used to do that he can kind of translate to some of these other guys. But I would just be bringing him over just for his mind, not necessarily anything on the field.
Yeah, I'm cool. He's not really a threat. He don't pose a threat. he doesn't pose a threat on the field. He gonna catch the ball if you get it to him, but he doesn't pose a threat. I can see one of our second-year guys come in and give them an opportunity to go ahead and mature in the league. And I do understand what you're saying as far as bringing someone like that in, because we don't have one of those kind of guys, because everybody's relying on Trey Tucker, and he's like really, I won't say he's green in the game, but he not ripe yet. He still got to prove himself in this league right now. And he's been doing that incrementally, but he need to have a breakout season in order to have that cachet.
And I'm with you on that, Black. I feel like with Trey Tucker, and I'm high on Trey Tucker. I like Trey Tucker, but he's that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's reports that came out that Trey Tucker is pulling these wide receivers to the side and trying to be that vet for them, but he's also trying to do that while trying to get his home. You know what I'm saying? And that's the situation that he's in. Contract is about to come up, you know what I'm saying, for him. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that are, and probably people in the chat are talking about it, but, some people are like, Trey Tucker is not, let's get rid of him. He sucks, whatever. When in reality, he was the most productive wide receiver number-wise and statistic-wise that we had last year. So, but even with that being said, he's trying to get his own. So how is he trying to be a mentor while trying to get your own? That's a lot to try to carry.
Yeah, it's one of them situations where, like Kirk Cousins and Mendoza, it's like, I'm going to teach you everything you know, not everything I know.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're the elder person to have the information, then that's the leverage you have. So that's how that would kind of play out. But it's very limited, because Trey Tucker is only, he's not like, he's like the number one by default. And that's no knock to him, because he's earned it. But our wide receiver room we don't know how competitive it is, because it's so young. And that's why bringing in a Hopkins would help. Like you said, bringing him in for his mind, that would be helpful. So if we had a couple dollars to throw at him, he's not going to be an issue in the locker room. He's not going to be an issue off the field. So if we could bring him in for what he made 5 last year, if we can bring him in for like 2 or 3, might be.
I wouldn't lie to you, Black. I would still throw 5 at him.
You would throw 5? You got 5 on it?
I mean, it's 3 or 5. You know what I'm saying? You said 3, 5 ain't that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead and throw it at him. Like, we talked about the other wide, and I know we're gonna talk about more wide receivers, but we talked about wide receivers that are problems in the locker room. Like, we ain't gotta worry about D Hop, you know what I'm saying, being zesty, or you know what I'm saying, we ain't gotta worry about D Hop, you know what I'm saying, being an issue in the locker room. He gonna fit in. You know what I'm saying? And be a leader. And not necessarily, like I said, it may not be necessarily a leader in numbers, but if he can teach Dante Thornton to run better routes, if he can tell Jack Besh how to, you know what I'm saying, use his body to possession catch better. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of those things as a vet that he can do, and then that will alleviate Trey Tucker from having to do the balance.
Yeah.
Now Trey Tucker, all he got to do is cook, which he needs to. I think the success of our offense, pass catching wise, is going to be ran through, not primarily through Trey, but Trey's going to have a piece of this pass catching situation.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to be well relied on in this offense because you need someone that's going to be able to counter the attention that's going to be given to Bowers. You know they're going to always try to find where Bowers is, and they're going to defense is going to move with Bowers. And as that happens, Trey Tucker needs to make them pay. And if they try to make sure that Trey Tucker don't make them pay on the back end, then that's when the nailer got to come in. That's when the Jack Resch got to come in. That's when the Thornton got to come in and really, really make them pay. Now, like I said, I don't know if y'all seen the thumbnail. We got all these receivers, and I got their face crossed out because I don't think we should sign any of them. But there is one receiver that I would sign if I was going to sign a receiver. And no one has guessed it yet in the chat. Try to take a guess. It was not Diggs. But so you did say a lot of these guys are character issues. How do you feel about IU? I mean, like, he trying to talk his way out of San Francisco. And he's usually not a locker room issue or off the field issue, but this is an issue. And so maybe he really trying to get out of this situation, so he got to act this certain kind of way. Has that hurt him getting a job somewhere else?
I think so.
Because
I was just talking because my cousin, unfortunately he's a Niner fan. And I just got off the phone with him. Like I had 2 calls that I had to make, and that was one before I had to make the business call. And it's tough because you don't know why he's doing what he's doing right now. Like you part of it's contract, but is part of it really who he is? You know what I'm saying? Driving by the facility like a hurt baby mama. You know what I'm saying? Talking about go Commanders.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and right. You still, you don't got a contract. Well, you kind of still
on contract, but you're not about to come back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so are you doing that? You don't know. We don't know. Like, is that really him, or is that him just trying to get out? And I can't call it. So I'm just like, I don't know.
So in that situation, I'm going to say it's probably a little of both. Because when you put somebody in a stressful situation, you're going to see the type of person that they are. You know, because he still could stay quiet no matter what they do to him. Just like Patrick Graham. We didn't know all the stuff Patrick Graham was going through until after he got another job.
Right.
Now, and Patrick Graham, a lot of people even question if he was going to get another job somewhere else, but he ended up getting another job fairly quickly, and he got a good job. Like, he got a job where he could showcase himself, and they probably going to leave him alone, and then he can kind of flourish like that. But we didn't know he had an issue with Pete Carroll at all. That's why he had that look on his face all the time. I think he wanted to be in the booth, but Pete Carroll made him be on the field, right? I think I heard something like that.
And I don't know that part of the politics, but you say you a body language specialist. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell that he was out of his zone. I'll say it like that. And then reports came out that he was only in charge of six quarters of football. In those 6 quarters of football, he only allowed 9 points. Like,
right. And that was because he took those 6 quarters. Like, it ain't because they allowed him. He essentially went rogue.
just to prove,
Right.
that his system actually worked.
Yeah, and I thought his system worked. I thought a lot of people were giving him grief, and I was like, our defense isn't that bad.
We,
But
but we,
everybody wanted to, but some people wanted to complain about the on third down. Why do they play so far off? Now that part I don't get, but I didn't see that as often as people were saying that. And then our bend but don't break defense. I understand that in the NFL because it's hard to figure out players. I mean, coordinators. So you got to catch them slipping in the midst of those 10, 11 plays. You try to catch them slipping, or you get your back against the wall where they can't run these plays and they can only do certain much in the red zone. So and try to hold them to three. But that only really works if you got an offense on your side, on your team, because if you giving up three and the offense is giving up 3 and outs, you're going to end up losing the game a lot of times.
mm, and we saw the Patrick Graham defense. The Patrick Graham defense was when the AP took over, and AP told him, "Hey, let the dogs out. Go ahead and do what you do." And we saw that defense, and that defense, we was all talking about that defense being top 10, you know what I'm saying, of the league.
Yeah, so
Mind,
I
mind,
like Patrick Graham.
mind you, the only big ticket person we had on that side of the ball was Max Crosby.
Yeah. So are you this is the way he's acting right now? Yeah, part of that is him. Him getting in the car, now driving by the stadium, doing a flyby. I mean, Top Gun. I could be like, that's Top Gun. He went to buzz the station. Like he thought it was funny because that's kind of how this generation is. They call it trolling, right? So he was trolling them. And then they trolled him back, and then they was like, you were speeding. So they were both being petty with each other, and that's why he didn't come back and start calling them little girls and all kind of, you know what I'm saying, euphemisms and things like that in a smart way though, because you can tell he's calculated, but part of it is him, and then some of it is that he really just want out of there, so he's trying to yank the chain as hard as he can, and they're gonna let you out, bro, but they just don't want you to go nowhere else though because you did essentially take the money from him and never played again. Like that's janky.
Yeah, I think it's just a little too messy to
Leave it alone. Well, one thing is that Shanahan is probably cool with Kubiak because they all part of that brotherhood, like with McVay, because they all run that offense. They under that tree, and so they like man, because the Raiders was linked to IU for a second, and I'm like, can we trust IU to go back to being who he was? Because in the system, he could have been kind of upset he wasn't getting more passes, although he wasn't really getting that many passes. Like you can count on you getting 2 passes for like 15 to 20 yards, and then he ain't getting no more the rest of the game. And then I kind of wonder why he always like disappeared like that. And then he asked for the bag. They gave him the bag, and then he never come back. So um, this is for 12. Say, didn't we just pick up a receiver like a week ago? When we just rock with the wideouts where we got? We don't need to sign none of them big name wideouts. And Christ like says, Amen, justice. And let the church say, don't you preach it to the choir, because I agree. I agree. We don't need no big name. That's already proven that Kubiak don't need one of them. He doesn't. And I like that. Because we can always address that next year. And it don't have to be a first round wide receiver either. So let's go down the list. Under Hopkins is Noah Brown, year 9. He get 3.2 million. And then underneath him is Keenan Allen at 3 million, year 13, age 34. What do you think about Keenan Allen?
He's another like D-Hop to me. I really don't got too much on that. I would just say he's more like a D-Hop. He did have injuries. I know he's dealt with injuries, so that would be something to definitely look at. Of course, he's older. But yeah, he's more like the D-Hop to me. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, he's definitely a veteran that can bring some maturity to the locker room in that position. Now, when I said the one person that I would sign, this would be the one person. Because we don't need him to run up and down the field. We need you to catch balls in the red zone, though, because you sure killed us like that, no matter how old you were. Like, you always woke up to play for the Raiders. Like you can rely on him like the first and the 15. He going to play when it comes to the Raiders. So if we can get somebody like that, that's a good locker fit like that. He's quiet. You don't hear a lot about him. Been in the league already, a consummate pro, a KG vet. He still can get open from time to time. We need you for the red zone. And like I said, we need a veteran wide receiver that can make you be honest on defense. Because if you're not honest with him, then he's just going to possession you all the way down the field. So this is the guy I like out of everybody out of all the receivers that we've talked about thus far. This is the one guy that I would sign. So, and he only commands $3 million. So we can give him $3 million into that 5 with Hopkins. So, and then there's other receivers, Zay Jones, Sky Moore, Sterling Shepard, Hunter Renfrow, Tyler Lockett, Brandon Cooks, all those guys.
You said Hunter Renfrow?
Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, bring that back.
Run that back.
Bring the China back. China.
Yeah, 2.2 million, 2.5 million. Bring the China route back.
Bring the China.
I think he was with Carolina last year. I don't know if he's gonna play this year. He just gotta get. If he's gonna come here, he needs to bulk up because everybody in the Raiders organization is bulking up right now. If you ain't noticed, everybody bulking up.
Oh, so, shout out to Deuce Gruden. You know what I'm saying? Getting them together.
And that's good though. That's good. I like that because that's how we're going to be able to avoid injuries early in the season. Is by really, really working out. So
I think it works out anyway. I think and traditionally when you have rookies that are wide receivers, most of the time they're just when they first come in, they're just trying to figure out their routes and et cetera, et cetera. Usually the second year is when they actually really, you know what I'm saying, when you get to see their body, you know what I'm saying, and see. Well, not necessarily see their body, but necessarily you see them work on their bodies more. The second year is like, oh, he looks bigger. You know what I'm saying? And that's it just happens to be that we drafted our wide receivers, and now we're in the second year, and that's why I thought Jack Best was big enough, but it seems like he's getting bigger. You know what I'm saying? And then Trey put a little more weight on, and you know what I'm saying? So these guys, these wide receivers are putting in the work in the gym for sure.
Yeah, because they have to block this year. That's why I'm telling y'all. Like Travis Hunter, like this is second year, and he didn't even play all last year. Like you said, second year you kind of see him get into the NFL bodies because they have a whole year to eat right. They now the facility, they're gonna have the money to do all the things to make sure that they can get into the shape that they want and all the stuff. And It's that second year, and that's what I'm thinking that we're gonna see. Some people say that DT needs to put on a little weight too, but
He needed to do a whole
I
bunch
just
of
think
stuff.
I hope he just get an opportunity to play and stretch the field because I think he's going to be a vital piece for us. Rebel said he'll take Renfro back in a hot minute. But like when players like that don't come back immediately, it's got to be a reason. Like we would have already signed him if we really was going to get Hunter Renfro.
Yeah.
And not a bunch of other people are trying to knock his door down either. So I would take him for the low ski too, though.
And I'll say this too, because as we're going over some of the the list of the wide receivers, like don't be surprised that they do bring in one of these wide receivers in camp. You know what I'm saying? And he'd be a camp body, and then he'll probably in most cases he'll most likely probably be a long shot to make the team, but he definitely got a shot if they bring him to camp.
So here's a top 5 or top 6 people. Well, it's going to be 5 for me because I said yes to Keenan Allen. So let's go from worst to best case scenario for us. From worst case to best case scenario out of the 5 people, well, 6 people for you: Keenan Allen, Ayuk, Tyreek Hill, Diggs, Debo, and Hopkins. So who's the number 6 guy on that list? Like the absolute person that you will not want on the team at all.
Diggs.
Yeah, Diggs is going to be number 6, and I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Yeah, Diggs is 6. And then who you have after that?
Give me a list again.
It's Keenan Allen, Ayuk, Tyreek Hill, Debo, or Hopkins.
Ayuk.
Ooh, really? I would say Tyreek Hill right here. I would say Tyreek Hill. And then I would probably go with, well, let me see. Let's just do your list then. So you got Diggs, Ayuk, then who else? After that?
Cheetah.
Tyreek. Okay. You have Keenan Allen, Debo, and Hopkins left.
Debo. Hide your stuff. Debo's coming.
Hide your stuff. Here comes Debo.
Debo, then Keenan.
Mm-hmm.
And my number 1 is D-Hop.
Okay, so you essentially bring in D-Hop out of all those players right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So my list looks like this. I'm going to say I know they're not bringing Diggs in. I know they're not. But if it was up to me, though, Tyreek Hill is the one I would not bring in. Then Diggs. Then Debo. Then Ayuk. Then Hopkins, leaving me with Keenan Allen. Yep. I like that. So team playback, y'all put in the chat, y'all put in the comments who y'all think, what order y'all will put that in. Number 1 being if we are to sign anyone, that would be the one person that we would sign. But for the record, I don't think we should sign anybody. But if we're gonna sign somebody, I want to sign Keenan Allen though.
I'm more in the boat of playing who we have. There's some development that needs to be there, and I think some part of that development, especially us going through a new system, is them actually getting out there, right? And however you want to play it, some people have the idea that we should win. When we're going to win all our games. Some of us have the mindset that this is not going to be our year. And if you're in the boat of it's not your year, you might as well just play what you have. This is also an opportunity for Kubiak to know who he has and really know who he has. You know what I'm saying? Not just at practice, but actually when bullets are really flying. I believe that Kubiak does not have everybody that he needs on this roster. And with that being said, he needs to figure out who needs to be on this roster. There's going to be guys that are going to be here just because of numbers. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no other wide receiver, so we'll just hold on to him until we draft somebody. Right? But Kubiak needs to figure all that out. Who fits, who doesn't. And the only way you're going to do that is if you allow these guys to play. If we keep bringing in guys and we never really know what we got in the draft, then what are we doing?
Yeah, you don't know what you need if you don't know what you have. If you don't know what you have, right?
Right.
So I'm with you. We're not trying to hit home run right now, but we are trying to hit a double though in the gap.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't trying to go hit a home run, not yet, but we definitely trying to get some extra bases. So yeah, let's just see what we have and work it from there. And if we can really get, I don't know, Keenan Allen for the Lowski, maybe even D-Hop for the Lowski, but I don't think it's necessary, really. I mean, like you said, we can work with what we have, and wherever we deficient in, then we'll address that and we'll attack it aggressively, like we attacked the things we needed to attack this year. Let me see. Raider Rebel says about Renfro. He would be the best route runner in the team instantly. Still, yeah, that's fine. I agree with that. It's just that he can't take that many hits. That's why he had to retire, because Josh McDaniels was getting his clock clean. Josh McDaniels was over there calling routes for him and Devontae Adams running into each other. Y'all remember that? And they did that a few times, where when one defender can guard two people. You know how you push one wide receiver and he run into the other wide receiver? So you just guarded two men with one person? Rebel says, could there be a world where Kubiak says, I don't give a damn of who my receivers are because I'm him and you can't stop my offense? Yeah, that is the world. That's the world we're in right now. That's the world he was in last year.
Yeah.
That's his world. Yeah, that's his world, and I like that. I really do like that because it's a team concept at that point. Because it's very few selfless wide receivers. So.
Yeah, and the reason why I like D-Hop is because I know D-Hop is that. D-Hop is not going to be worried about how many touches he gets. You know what I'm saying? D-Hop is not going to, have arguments about who's getting highlighted, you know what I'm saying, in the in the featured, you know what I'm saying, in the play calling, you know what I'm saying? He's just going to do his job. And yeah, he's a shell of himself. You know what I'm saying? He ain't the Texans, you know what I'm saying, D-Hop, but he again, It's like the young bull and the old bull. You know what I'm saying? The old bull needs to tell the young bull a few things and to teach him, how to go ahead and get it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what D Hop would be able to do. Be that old man in the locker room.
Yeah.
Teach these
that
young,
wouldn't hurt.
because again, our wide receivers are young. All of them are. You know what I'm saying? So teach these young boys how to be a pro. Trey's doing the best he can, but I'm just saying, if you had D Hop in there, he can definitely be the sensei.
Right. He'd be an old head in the group that people will listen to. And he's still young enough to be relatable. Because he ain't like that old, maybe like Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen looked like he always at home. Hop looked like he be outside sometimes at least. But yeah. So that's my spiel.
And I think D Hop fits the locker room. I'm just saying, like, if you just picture D Hop, put him in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think and he kind of looks like him, but I'll just say it like this: he kind of reminds me of like the vibe of Stokes, and we know everybody in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? Like Stokes. There's nobody that I've ran into or anybody that had something to say about Stokes and didn't have nothing positive to say about that guy. You know what I'm saying? And I think D Hop he would fit perfectly with what we got going on. Even though he would be the old man in the room, he definitely would fit the vibe.
He might can get open a few times too in this previous offense.
Don't let the old man fool you. He can get you a first down or two. You know what I'm saying? When needed. You know what I'm saying? And I think and that might also be something that fits our offense too. Is like we need someone that is the constant, move the chains. You know what I'm saying? If everything else is tied up, you know what I'm saying, then you can find, Kirk Cousins can find D Hop, you know what I'm saying, to get the first down, or, you know what I'm saying, or to keep the, you know what I'm saying, keep us moving, moving the chain. So that still is in play.
Yeah, because I think right now that third down guy is going to have to be Jack Bench. Of that possession receiver that if all those fails, then we throw him the ball and he catch it. If it's outside of Bowers, you know what I mean? So bringing in a Hopkins could, he'll be behind Besh, and if Besh ain't performing, and Hop go out there and be like, "This one, let me show you what I'm talking about." I can't do it for all 4 quarters like that, but I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Or he can only do it like that for half to see. I don't know how much he has in the tank. He has in the tank, but at least he can show it, and then and then we can learn it. And like you said, it'll mature our locker room, our wide receiver room drastically. It just instantly, because he's a locker room guy, and he knows his role, and he's not trying to be outside of his role, thinking he still should be the number one guy like he used to be. Rosetown Native was good. So who are you going to get rid of and bring in D Hop? Which young receiver are you willing to let go? So how many receivers is it? So what we have?
You would have to look
Beth,
at
Thornton. Yeah, let me just look it up. I got you. Hold on.
You have to look at the room. On top of my head, it would be, I'm just going to run down the room: Naylor, Tucker, Besh, Thornton, Benson. That's 5. Derek Young is the special teams guy. That's 6. And to be honest with you, I I would lose Derek Young, even though he's a special teams guy. I would lose him, bring in D Hop, and make Benson do special teams.
Brendan Johnson is the wide receiver we brought in. So we got Tucker, Shedrick Jackson, Naylor, Dante Thornton, Philip Dorsett, Jay Besh, Malik Benson, Jonathan Brady, Chase Roberts. I think we got rid of Chase. I think Chase Roberts injured. Or was that Corey Rucker? We got rid of the Rucker. Oh, he on injured
Yeah,
reserve.
I think they stashed one of them.
Yeah, and then Derek Young and EJ Williams Jr. So let me see. How many receivers we gonna keep? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? 6 receivers?
I normally say 6.
So that's to me. That'd be Trey Tucker, bless you, Jalen Naylor, Dante Thornton, Jay Besh, Malik Benson, and then that's when you bring in for the 6 wide receiver, Hopkins or Keenan Allen. In my case, that means Shedrick Jackson would be the odd man out. Philip Dorsett would be the odd man out. Brandon Johnson, I think he already kind of like he's not guaranteed a spot on the team anyway. So the rest of these guys, even Derek Young, probably can be on the practice squad and hopefully don't get picked up. So so it probably be Shedrick Jackson is the person that's going to have to be the odd man out in this case for me. Let's see.
Because the guys that you're talking about, like the Shedrick Jacksons and a lot of those guys, they've been flirting with the practice squad anyway. So it's not like oh, all of a sudden, oh, we're losing somebody that was, that was like a real starter, you know what I'm saying, or on the main 53 for us. Like those were like the bottom of our wide receiver room. Like Shedrick Jackson, yeah, he did well at the end of the season. Yeah, he flashed during the preseason, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. But I look, I would just put him back on the practice squad.
Yeah.
And then all of Fernando's friends, they can be on the practice squad.
Yeah, give them some time to mature too, right?
Yeah, because there's more than one, EJ, and then we got another Brady, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they can be on the practice squad.
Raider Knight said we should sign Deebo Samuel. Why? What would be the reason? Deebo. Raider Ali said there's a lot of young talent with a lot of high ceilings. Who have high ceilings? Which one of them guys have high ceilings? Because if they have high ceilings, then they're not going to last on the practice squad that long. So who are we talking about? I just don't see a need to let any of those guys walk for receivers in the so-called rebuild year. Yeah, we're not totally rebuilding. It's not a total rebuild, although we're totally rebuilding though. Because we rebuilding because we had so many places that we had to renew, like the head coach, basically all the offense, not all the offense, the coaching on both sides. So you would think that that's going to be a rebuild because you're doing all those things. You got to bring in a new quarterback. Defense, you don't really know who's there other than Max. But the thing is, the way we drafted and the way we attack free agency, we solidify a lot of these pieces. So in a rebuild, sometimes you kind of hit and miss with players, or you're trying to see if this player can fit into this camp that we got going on. And it's like these players, right? Like they nailing these to the wall. Like the only way they get out of here is if they fall off the wall.
Mm.
You know, because they already know we were very specific about who we were intentional about who we were going to go get. And then, so with that being said, is even if they do fall off the wall, we ain't gonna do nothing but replace you with somebody that look just like you.
Yeah, because all these guys are spy techs kids. You know what I'm saying? So this ain't like, oh, that guy gotta go because he's not spy tech. Don't know him. If it is somebody like that, they're veterans. You know what I'm saying? And we're in a position, and this is tough. You know what I'm saying? Because people have been using that word rebuild a lot. It's tough because when you look at our roster, is it really a rebuild? Like we didn't have anything. You know what I'm saying? We're literally young with holes. You know what I'm saying? Like we were young with holes, and you know we're relying on young people to take these spots. We're relying on young second and third wide receivers to take over for our wide receiver room. You know what I'm saying? We're asking for, you know what I'm saying, our young corners to step up and be starting corners. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah,
The secondary young.
It is a rebuild to an extent, but it's not like it wasn't like we wiped, you know, we purposely wiped out, you know what I'm saying, the roster, and then we brought in people. We just didn't really have much. You know what I'm saying?
It was already wiped out.
Yeah, we were already wiped out. It was just like now we're committing to drafting instead of, you know, the band-aids of you know, these old, and I had to take the beating from a Niner fan. He said, look, you guys were known to draft the old beat up, you know what I'm saying? The old rusties and dusties, you know what I'm saying? And I said, hey, you guys, we gave them a whole lot of money to come over too. You know, I think those days are over. You know, when our free agents are 27, 28 at the most. You know what I'm saying? I think the oldest free agent we brought in was probably the kicker and my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Kirk.
So I'm calling cousin Kirk.
So
yeah,
and we know why my cousin Kurt is here. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, what free agents did we bring in that were in their 30s? We used to do that.
Yeah. Raider Knight says Debo is better than our receivers except for Bowers. Yeah, well, that's arguable, but I mean, I'm not gonna argue too much. But Debo, I just don't think he fit. And plus, I don't want to see him every week. First of all, let me just go. Remember, I told you I'll be looking at stuff from a football aspect, and then my personal is like that's how I keep my biasness down.
You know,
I'm about to come in with my bias right now. I'm about to play a little joker right here. Bow. I do not want to see Debo. Period. He don't even look like a Raider.
Walking into the Legion Stadium with a Birkin bag.
Right. Talking about yes. Yes.
Hey, I mean, hey, you know, we already got a kicker that's representing the community, so you know that.
Yeah, Matt A with the G being silent.
You know.
Now I'm talking crazy because he a Niner. You know what? But hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
Hey, you got two people on screen that do not like the Niners.
Yeah, so hold on, y'all. This is for my church people, forgive me, bro.
If you're a Niner fan, what it do? Marshawn Lynch said, I'm a Raider.
Muted, you know, at least they muted. I like that part that at least they muted it. But
you know what he was saying.
Yeah, I don't like Debo. So I like Debo, right? I remember they was playing the Eagles or something. I think it was the Eagles. it was somebody that they was talking crazy to Debo, and Debo went over there and acted up on him, and he was in the locker room flexing on it, and I was like, okay, I see you. So it's not that I totally dislike Debo. I just don't like seeing him walk in the. I don't like how he dressed. I don't like his posture. So other than that, I probably could handle Debo. Pause. I don't. Ooh, yeah, I don't want Debo in our squad, bro. No, it's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me, dog. Raider at least said no. Those guys have been developing on the practice squad. That's what you want. Guys with a ceiling, not past their prime. Yeah, but practice squad players.
I'm
Is a
sorry, what
practice
was that?
squad player more? Is it more beneficial to have that practice squad player over having Hopkins in the locker room or Keenan Allen? And I would probably say no. I would probably say no. Now, Shedrick Jackson. I can see that being a concern because he's starting to get better, but I don't think he. I don't think he. I don't think he covers enough. He has enough cachet over like a veteran that we need in that locker room. We need I keep saying it. We need it. We need a veteran in that locker room because as I was watching the Kubiak offense, I was seeing things that Cooper Kupp was doing that was getting Johnson Smith and Digma open, and Rashid Shaheed, and it was certain things that he was doing that I know young wide receivers aren't on that level yet. I know that. I know that to be true. And
They
that's
haven't
why I'm
seen it.
saying, huh?
They haven't seen it.
Yeah, and they haven't seen it. So that's why I'm so convicted on saying that we need another veteran wide receiver. But if if it's at the cost of getting somebody that don't fit in the locker room, then I'd rather us run with what we got. And then they'll see it this year, and then next year maybe they'll understand the concept, you know. And then because then we could use Betch and Thornton as this their real rookie year, and then let next year be that second year learning curve that it could be. Because I just think our fans are so hypercritical that if they don't perform, then they're gonna start crying and whining and complaining. But on one side of their mouth, but in the preseason, they talking about, I'm not really worried about that. This is a rebuild year. And y'all said that last year. And I was like, yeah, look at it like that. No matter what the record is, don't trip on it. But then once Pete Carroll said what he said about his resume, then we thought 10 wins. So we scrapped the whole idea of this is a rebuild year. So as long as we don't get to trying to be like, well, they should be doing this and they're in their second year and they should be having this going on and all that. I already know that's what the content creator is going to say, but really, this is their rookie year right here under a competent coaching.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, we haven't talked about it, but go ahead and double tap that screen. Okay,
please,
double tap it. Just do it. This is your moment to double tap that screen.
Anthony is trying to say, I think it would be cool to sign Debo and have him in the slot with Tugger and Naylor on the outside. I like him, Debo, huh? Debo! To me, it's not a rebuild. It's a come up. Yeah, I like that. Debo didn't help out with the rookies much in Washington. Jaden Daniels, which is why he's not there anymore. Is that the case? If that is the case, then yeah. I can see that though. He said we'll let go pretty much everyone that Pete Carroll brought in. Yeah. We need to get rid of Aiden O'Connell too. No, I couldn't go and show about.
Hey, I already told you about that. You know what I'm saying? It's the Bob Barker. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, anytime I say Bob Barker, y'all know what it is. Do do
The price is
do
right.
do do. You know what I'm saying? The price got to be right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Other than that, we're
Especially
gonna
with
keep
Spy
them.
Tech. Especially Spy Tech. Spy Tech ain't just letting nobody. You know what I'm saying? He ain't just letting nobody walk.
A whole rebuild came from John Spytek when they thought they had Max Crosby trade. After Max came back, the rebuild was pretty much off the table. So I would agree with you. I would agree with you. Maybe like
I don't agree with that.
I would
And-
agree with you like two ice cubes on that.
okay.
I got two ice cubes on that because you know if a take needs a whole lot of ice because it's a hot take, but it ain't that hot, you gotta give them four ice cubes. Like cool that down. Like you doing
Yeah.
too much. You feel me? And then if you on point, you know it's like one. You might just put one ice in there unless you like it straight. Lace, no chaser, and it's a whole troop and nothing but the truth. But I'm gonna give you two on that one. I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you two because as true as that is, we already had already turned the corner and on the page on it. Matter of fact, it was almost like he was being petty. As soon as he got rid of Max, he started doing like, "You get a deal, you get a deal." We like they went into the book and was like, "This was our rebuild book," and they just started, especially once they got Tyler Lindenbaum, it was on and cracking. And so then I'm pretty sure Max was over there like, "What the heck is going on in Las Vegas? Why I couldn't do that when I was smart?"
But
Right?
that's why I gotta give it, you know what I'm saying? And you can pull up the graphic.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give it 3 cubes, you know what I'm saying? I gotta give it 3 cubes. And the reason why is because I feel like all the decisions that were made were already made before, you know what I'm saying, before
Right.
and after the max deal. Like we already knew going into this off season that we had the amount of cap money that we had, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we were in a position where rule wise, we had to spend a certain amount of the cap that we had. So I think the business was already going to be made, and I think the stamp of approval of that was after the fact when Max was rescinded, and Swytech was like, "Hey, the numbers and everything else that we said for these guys, we ain't halving it or anything. Everybody's getting what we told them because we already factored that Max was going to be here." So I I I I don't necessarily agree with that take because I think the business was going to be the business with or without Max Crosby.
Yeah, no, you might be right about that because a lot. That's why I said it was almost like it was already on. They already had a plan going on, and then Max left. Right? It's like they had a Whopper, but now they was gonna have a double Whopper with cheese.
Mm.
You feel me? They was gonna have a double Whopper with the cheese with those two first round picks. Like they had already worked it out. Because that's how Max was able to come back and he didn't upset anything. It was literally not a
Nothing
distraction
changed.
financially. It wasn't a distraction financially because it could have been. It could have got ugly, like for real. His locker room is not a distraction because he's still the leader and he ain't even on the field. Right? So that hasn't changed. Everybody's still looking at Max as being Max. The only people that have an issue is the fans. Well, some of the fans.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So and they don't even care about that. I promise you, Spy Tech is telling them not to care about what's going on outside of that facility. And I hope they stand on that because listening to the Raider fans will have you out of a job. That's what's gonna happen. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think it's a total rebuild, like because I don't think they scrapped it because the business was the business, and Spytek is kind of doing this thing when it comes to that. Webb says we need good examples, not bad examples.
True.
What they say, F a minor, we could take Spencer Burford with him. Like, with who? He said, I like Debo on Friday. So Spencer Burford, what's up? What's up with Up for Review, man? What's good with Virgil? Um, what's your thoughts about Spencer Burford, man?
You asking me?
Yeah.
He gonna be the starter.
Really?
I as much as people may not like it, there's a reason why they brought in a veteran free agent to be guard on this line. Gotta have one that fits the system.
Until he just
everything outside of Colt Miller and Tyler Linderbaum is wishful thinking.
even with JPJ, it's wishful thinking.
It's wishful thinking.
So you don't think he'll start somewhere on that line?
No, I'm not saying he's not going to be a starter, but I'm saying wishful thinking in the sense of we know Colton Miller is he ain't going nowhere, right? Barring injury, right? Knock on wood if you with me, right? Linderbaum was brought here by the staff that's running the offense. He fits the system, right? The other guys are question marks outside of Burford, right? We like Caleb Rogers. We like JPJ, but do they really fit the system? The only way we're going to figure that out for sure, is out in camp. But right now it's wishful thinking.
Oh,
so you got three people, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And you kind of could throw Colt Miller in there because we don't know if he really ran this system, but you got two people for sure that have ran this system. Everybody else is figuring it out. Not saying that they won't figure it out, but I'm just saying at the moment, they're figuring it out.
Like I said, that's not what they said. They said they're not getting rid of the guys they have in the contracts won't change because Max is back. They said they had to work him being back into the equation. I don't remember them saying that. I remember them saying ain't nothing changed. What would they have to work him back into the equation? How? He's the biggest alpha dog of them all. If anything, somebody's gonna get cut. If anything, they wasn't gonna be like, "Well, Max, you stressing our books, so we're gonna trade you anyway."
I wish I had that video because Spy Tech clearly said that nothing had changed. You know what I'm saying in regards to the money wise for the contracts. He said he said it on one of the Raiders podcasts.
Yeah, I remember him saying that.
Podcast.
Huh?
I said it was on one of the official Raider podcasts.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm saying Max coming back put $32 million more back on the books. They had traded them before the June deadline. They didn't have to pay his salary. So it put $32 million back on the books, what you're saying, but they had to give it back to him though.
But the money was already on but the money was already in there. So there was nothing.
Right, they could have spent it. In theory, they could have spent it because it was off the book. Well, actually, it wasn't technically off the books, so they never signed it.
Yep.
But as far as figuring out the numbers, because they could have easily spent that money thinking Max was gone, and they didn't. And they gave Kwity Paye a bag.
Mm-hmm.
He says, which I believe is why they stopped bringing in guys in free agency. No, there was nobody else to bring in. I don't think they would have brought in Kwity Paye and Devin alleviate if they knew Max was coming back. No, they wouldn't have. They probably wouldn't have.
You don't think they would have brought in Kwity Paye when we know that somebody needed to be on the opposite side of Max Crosby?
See, I think Max Crosby and Kwity Paye play on the same side. The thing about Kwity Paye though is he can play up and down the line. He can play either side. And we did a video today talking about Kwity Paye because I didn't know a bunch about him.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people were saying he was nice and I'm looking at his numbers and I'm like, these numbers ain't nice. Comparing it to Max, he's supposed to come in and take over for Max.
Yeah, that's why when people say, "Oh, he came in to take over from Max," I'm like, no.
Right. That makes sense. No. Maybe they was gonna use that money and go grab somebody else. They might have was gonna do that.
There's no serious commit. There's no for sure commitment on the opposite side of Max Crosby. Right. You got Waldo on a 1-year contract, and then behind him is Keyron Crawford.
Yeah. But
and I don't think they felt comfortable with having Keyron Crawford be the starter. You know what I'm saying? A1 on the opposite side, or one B. You know what I'm saying? Of defensive ends. So that's why you had Kwity Paye.
Yeah, Kwity Paye though. So what he does, he's good at it though. He's good. I like how he sets the edge. You don't bully him around. He's strong. And he ain't the fastest guy, but the thing is, he's the most sure tackling guy. And you're not going to run on his side like that. Because he clouds it up over there. And if you running away from Max, or you run away from Max, thinking you trying to get around the edge on Kwity Paye, then you're going to have an issue. But if they're going to be rotating for each other, then, that's a different thing. But I think he's going to be going back and forth because if Kuntz don't play at the level that he needs to play at this year, they're going to need some more pressure over there because mental reps, he's not going to be able to play DN like that. We need mental reps just to run off the edge. We just need you to run out the edge and go chase the quarterback. So that probably mean that Kuntz is probably going to get blocked. So if Kuntz ends up having 7, 8 sacks or 6, 7, 8 sacks, and then Keyron Crawford had 8, 9 sacks, I'm cool with that. Somewhere in there, as long as they have 15 combined sacks amongst both of them. Because you can game with them two over there. You can run stunts, have him clog it up, and here he comes. Or do the opposite, and then you can try to play the same kind of game with Max and Kwity Paye on the left side. And you can put Kwity Paye on the right side and Max. So you got all these options. So if they can work it like that, then I'm cool with it. My boy says they gonna find out about Spencer Burford when they put them pads on. I agree.
I've said that in regards to Burford. I say he's a starter because that's what he's penciled to be. But I also said it's his job to lose. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Caleb, whether it's JPJ, whoever else wants to act like they want to be a guard. You know what I'm saying? Like Trey Zoom. Those guys, those they're hoping. I'll say that. I'll say this in regards to Burford. They're hoping that someone steps up to be better than Burford. I can guarantee you that. They want all these guys to step up and make a jump. But will they?
Yeah, I think so. I think Burford was it was a smart pick. It was a smart grab because based on what we had before the draft, we knew we had to shore up this position on the line. And so just like when you have a new regime and you're a coach, you're going to be attached to the quarterback that you have. So that's why they went and got Kirk Cousins, because he's familiar with Kirk Cousins, and he could trust Kirk Cousins gonna be able to put down what he's picking up. I mean, pick up what he's putting down.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's comfortability. Same thing with Burford. He was like, no matter what ends up happening to our line this year, however we draft or whatever, I know that we have this guy right here that knows the system well enough where I can get the best out of him. Because I've seen Kubiak use linemen that had less talent than him and made them good as a unit. Because he know, okay, this guy can't run block like that, so I'm not gonna run over there like that. But I will, make the tight end come down and wham block somebody that get by him or something, because I'm making the adjustment if I want to go on that side. So he can get the best out of the least. So I can see why they brought in Burford, because, like you say, the system, and people ain't gonna like it, but he probably is gonna start, and it's gonna be his job to lose. That's why I say, if Trey Zoon end up in that position, or Trey Zoon end up getting on the field, it's gonna be hard for him to come off. I'm talking about in lieu of, like, if he comes on there like somebody get injured and he play a couple of weeks, oh yeah, he might not ever come off.
Mm-hmm. And I've said this about Trey Zoon. I think the plan is that he's if everything works perfect, I think Trey Zoon would be the rotational backup guy this year, and then next year he actually becomes a starter, because that allows us time to even bring in someone else next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we might have to draft again on the O line. You know what I'm saying?
Why? We got 2 old linemen that people are talking about. Everybody's so high on Carlos, Caleb Rogers, and I'm thinking Grant better than him. They don't play the same position, but why we need to get some more linemen when we got them 3 linemen? They young, and Glaze is young still, and JPJ is young still.
I'm more sour on Glaze than others.
To sour?
Yeah.
How so?
In this offensive line schematics, it's going to require for Glaze to move. And
right.
One thing that Glaze is not good at is actually his last name is very fitting, because his feet have glaze on them. Just picture your feet having molasses. Like, he's slow. Put a speed rusher on him and his barbecue chicken. And I'm just going off of what I saw on film. I don't know what he did during the offseason. I don't know if he worked with Mr. Feet. You know what I'm saying? There's actually a guy out there. I think that's what his name is, Mr. Feet, that actually work with these football players on their footwork. I don't know if he got with Mr. Feet or whatever. But he's on the slower end. More of a power guy. And I don't know if that's gonna will it work until we get somebody. We're gonna have to roll with it. But is he would I call him a complete fit? I right now I don't see it.
Trying to look at Charles Gertz. They say he played 1 game. I thought he played more than 1 game, but he started 1 game. Let me see.
Who started 1 game?
Charles Grant.
He might have.
He started 1 game, but I think he played in like 9 games, I thought.
They was moving that offensive line crazy because people was injured and
right.
They was getting beat up.
What's up with gravy, man? So
Salute, Greg.
he said Burford though, like, so my thing is this with DJ Glaze. I think that, and you're right, that you got to be able to move. And not only that, what I've noticed watching Kubiak's system is um, that right tackle got to be able to hold that D in on his own, by himself, like stonewall him, you know. And I don't think I haven't seen that yet because I've seen guys get around him a lot. No, I mean, often. Let me not say a lot. And the thing is, he's getting valuable experience. And to his credit, though, and I keep saying this because this is very, very critical, is he played every game of the lineman. So that speaks volume.
Nate said, I think Nate said that he played the last game.
Yeah, he started the last game, but did he play other games in other games though?
Probably preseason.
No, everybody was hurt. He had to play. Raiders unleashed. He says, I mean, I feel they're going to find out per word, not the starter. No, Buford is not the starter when the pads come on. Yeah. So I can kind of see that. And I can also see that DJ Glaze, that's where I was going to go with that. DJ Glaze might even get moved to guard. The competition's going to be sick. Huh?
That just makes it a cluster at guard.
Well,
That's
how
five.
so?
That's five guards just on the top of my head. Burford, JPJ, Rogers, Glaze, Zoom.
Yeah. But I think the starters would be Glaze and JPJ. And then Grant and Zoom will fight for that right tackle. But I think that would be more Grant than anything. But I did hear, this is what I heard Lincoln Kennedy say. Colton Miller, Caleb Rogers, Linderbaum, JPJ, DJ Glaze. And he said Caleb Rogers because Caleb Rogers has been through here. He's a Raider. And Burford isn't. And I mean, he is now, but give the guys a chance that's been here. And if everybody is higher with Caleb Rogers, like they're saying, then if he can hold his own, then he should get the start there.
We had that conversation the last time I was live with you when you asked me who do you someone I forgot who was in the chat that asked the wonderful question of who will we want, you know what I'm saying, versus who do you think it's really going to be. And what I want is actually what Lincoln Kennedy said. I called that. But I really think that Burford is going to bounce out Caleb Rogers.
Right. Is there something about having that experience that's good?
Yeah. I mean, what I think is different from what I want. And I want Caleb, but I think they're going to lean more towards Burford.
Oh yeah, we forgot about Meredith, right? Another guard, right? It's another guard, Meredith.
Is he a guard or is he a center?
Well, he's a guard. He was a guard before he played center.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. Is he a guard or is he a center?
Speaking of that, I was asked earlier today, how do you feel about they changed JPJ's position from guard to now it says center/guard? How do you feel about that?
That means they're trying to. That means JPJ might be the backup center.
Yeah. Good.
Because
Yeah.
remember, they're trying to. They're also trying to shave roster spots. So having JPJ as the backup center. So I'll play it like this: Colt Miller, Burford, Linderbaum, JPJ, Glaze. Let's just say
Say that again. Say that again one more time.
Colt Miller, Burford, Linderbaum, JPJ, Glaze. Okay? Let's just say Linderbaum goes down. Now you slide JPJ to center, and either Trey Zoom comes in or Caleb goes in. So I think they're trying to, if you use JPJ as your backup center, then that means you don't have to carry an extra center. You know what I'm saying? Carry an extra center on the game day roster. And we talked about it, and some people disagree with it, some people agree with it. But they're going to have to carry 3 quarterbacks. So they're going to have to find somewhere that they can cut. And I said one of the first things I said they might take a look at, because I was looking more at Trey Zoom than anything, because Trey Zoom plays pretty much up and down the line. I was like, they're probably going to cut somewhere in the O line,
so they can carry 3 quarterbacks.
Huh?
So they can carry 3 quarterbacks.
So they can have that extra spot.
For our boy AO12, as they call him, guys. So this is what I think about it. And y'all that could be very true too, because 2 things can be true at the same time.
That's what we're talking about.
Because that could be true. My thing is this: I'm glad they did it, because it should have never been It should have never been changed from the beginning. And that's what I meant by with Pete Carroll playing games with JPJ. Because JPJ had to fight to play center the first year with AP. He almost had to dip him on his neck, because they was about to overlook him, and he had to tell him, "Look, bro, I does this." And sometimes you gotta call the coach out like that sometimes, which I didn't have a problem with that. But then he doesn't have that kind of cachet with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll just we sit him on the bench, because then they had people walking around here talking about he wasn't smart enough just because he asked America for protection or something like that. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what they all do. Matter of fact, I just heard Kirk Cousins and the other quarterbacks, except for AOC, wasn't there. They all had questions, and they hit up Tom Brady. Like, so does that mean they all incompetent except for AOC? No. But if you let y'all tell it, some of y'all tell it, that mean that AOC's ahead of the curve on all of them, because they didn't know, and he probably did, or something crazy. Like, no. They were messing with JPJ. So now they kind of, like what I call, they un-F themselves, because they was effing with him. So essentially they was like, look, bro, if something does happen, you are the center, bro. Like, don't worry about that. Your role is defined. But just like right now, I see people talk about, oh well, the backup. He's a backup for, because he's trade bait. Like, y'all need to stop that, man. He's going to be the backup center and backup guard. Yeah. getting ready to trade him by updating his profile. Nutty Reader, Nate. That's him. No, I don't think that at all. Now it'd be stupid if we traded JPJ. When I say stupid, I mean it's stupid though. So that's why I think I like that they updated it. And because somebody like impressionable like JPJ, just give him clear, defined role, and he can run through the wall for you. Like, why y'all playing games with that dude? And all this trade stuff is only being perpetuated by the fans. Like a lot of this BS that's going on in the media cycle would go away if we didn't buy into some of this goofiness. Not to say it's impossible to happen, but right now where it's standing, it just doesn't make sense. Let's say. They said they're trying not to be scared of being prepared. I like it, have a plan and have all the players playing at those positions in the offseason so that they're ready. Yep. Facts. 8-0 lineman could be a scenario, or maybe less defensive lineman because of the base defense that we're going to run. I don't think we're going to take it from the defensive line. But Lincoln Kennedy said the Raiders carry 8-0 linemen. That's what we talked about. And who were the 8-0 linemen that we were saying that we're going to, can they go down to 7?
So you talking about breaking it down right now?
I mean, we can, yeah. I mean, like, even for the chat, you guys, because he's saying that, like, 8-0 linemen, like, it's going to go, like, the 7. Because we got to keep his boy AOC on the roster.
Yeah. So, Colt Miller, Burford, Linderbaum, JPJ, Glaze. Behind that, huh?
Yeah, that's 5.
That's 5. Behind that, you got Trey Zoom, Caleb Rogers.
That's 7. So you tell me Grant is out?
Grant's your 8.
Yeah, Grant is your 8.
Grant, or I'll say this: Grant or Meredith. But I'm leaning more towards the younger guy.
And that could go either way. Yeah.
That's right there.
Yeah, I agree. All because we gotta try to keep your boy on the roster.
You got to.
Scout team? That's what I'm gonna start calling them. ST12? Scout team 12?
He's not even a scout team. He's
he is backup, huh?
He's the backup. That's why when people is so on Fernando Mendoza, you guys is talking about the third string quarterback.
He's scout team because I'm telling you, week in and week out, Mendoza's gonna be getting ready. I don't care. Because he better be, because I promise you, scout team is gonna be injured in 4 to 6 weeks, man. So he better not be getting third team reps and then all of a sudden gonna have to start.
He ain't gonna. I'm telling you, he's not. They're not trying to let the sunshine shine on Mendoza anytime soon. If Kirk Cousins goes down,
we in trouble.
AOC's going out there to get the job done.
To get done by the job, because he ain't gonna get the job done. I'm telling y'all right now.
And it depends on which week. Then we might see Mendoza. You know what I'm saying?
That's my point. If it's before the trade deadline, okay, cool. All right, I can see that. If it's before the trade deadline, cool. Then we can get rid of LLC at the trade deadline and then let Mendoza just take over from there. Mm-hmm. I get that.
But now he's the third string quarterback.
But after the trade deadline, the matter of fact, AOC needs to go by the trade deadline. That's what I've decided now. He needs to go by the trade deadline. I mean, like that last week of the trade deadline, though. You know what I'm saying? Because if Mendoza if Kirk Cousins, knock on wood, if you with me, for whatever reason, get knocked all the way out by week 7 or whatever, we might as well rock with Mendoza at that point because he gonna play week 11 or week 12. Might as well just go and stick him out there because it ain't gonna make no sense playing all 3 of our quarterbacks. Because then it's gonna feel like all the other years when we had to play all our quarterbacks going into the year. I was saying, oh, y'all tripping off this quarterback. Our team is so dysfunctional that we need all 3 of our quarterbacks. But our team is not dysfunctional now, and if somehow we end up playing all 3 of our quarterbacks, that means we're doing something wrong. And the way to avoid that is get rid of ST12.
I'm not saying I'm not saying the writing is not on the wall for bruh, but starting out. He's the backup quarterback.
Yeah,
because you're not trying to put Mendoza out there week 3.
No, you're not. Now that I would agree with, but I think Kirk Cousins can survive 3 weeks though. It's all right. Because he ain't more fragile.
I'm just saying, God forbid, because again, it's football. What did we say? Let me knock on wood early. We seen what happened to Aaron Rodgers. What was it? The first or second
play?
Snap?
Yeah.
He was done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it could be a situation like that. But even with that, you need to have AOC because we're not trying to trap Mendoza out there. I don't care how lovely, you know what I'm saying, he says prayers before the game. I don't care how lovely, you know what I'm saying, he's putting holy water on the offensive line and Ashton Genty before the games and whatever else he does. Like it comes down to making sure that he and the team is ready to go. Him and the team. And we still trying to figure out if this offensive line can hold it. So now you got to roll with AOC. I like Mendoza. You know what I'm saying? I like what he stands for. Some of the things is kind of weird, but hey, it's my quarterback. But yeah, we can't rush this dude out there as much as we may like him.
Oh, he says he's not even sure AOC will be on the team by regular season.
Bob Barker.
Barker.
That's the only way. That's the only way if the price is right.
Frank Webb say Miller, JPJ, Linderbaum, Rogers, Grant, Zoon, and Glaze. No Parham, Meredith, or Burford. You don't think Burford going to make the 8, the 7 linemen?
That sounds lovely.
No Parham, no Meredith, no Burford.
That are young, you know what I'm saying, that our young linemen clearly beat out a vet for the job. I would love it. You know what I'm saying? But is that reality? Is that realistic?
If Burford go out there and get beat and Caleb Rogers looking like a boy, then yeah. Rebel say it may take a catastrophic injury, catastrophic season from 2 different quarterbacks before we see Mendoza. I think he's just saying that because you think that's what's happening to AOC. No. Mendoza gonna play if it's later in the season. He gonna play before AOC. I'm telling you, if it's later in the season, he's getting on that field. We do not want to see AOC. If it's week 10 or week 9 or week 11, do not stick him out there unless we trying to tank. If we trying to tank, then then okay, cool. Whatever.
I'm gonna say this. I am always just win, baby.
Me too.
I don't talk about tanking. But
that's why I was like, if that's what we're doing, because that's what we did last year, and I didn't enjoy that.
Is it really going to hurt us? You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're already losing games, is it going to hurt us? That's something that you're going to have to, discuss on your own. Again, I'm not in the tank. Whoever is our quarterback, I want you to go out there and shred whoever we're playing. But it's not going to hurt us. Because I think they're already in the mindset that this is not going to be. Can we get lucky and get into it? Absolutely. Any given Sunday. But I don't think they're saying this is the year.
This year.
And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Please tell me in the chat. I don't think Kubiak is saying this is the year we gonna, you know what I'm saying, we gonna lift the Lombardi.
No, I don't think that. Because like I said, you're gonna come for the king, you best not miss. So this is not the year that we're gonna come for the king. But we for sure might take some practice shots at you, or at least see if we can get in position, because we're not trying to be the bottom dweller no more. But Carson Beck playing before Mendoza is going to be crazy. And you say, especially with him getting $53 million guaranteed to sit on the bench for a year, I don't know how Raiders can justify that. I don't know how you can't see how they justify that. Like, you're protecting your investment. I don't understand what part of that y'all not getting. You want to stick him out there with an unproven line, although I know it's going to be better, but let's just say we don't know. They still got to get cohesion together, even if they are better line. But why would you want to stick a guy out there when you have a quarterback that's better than him already, and you can have him lead the way? Why would you want to put your investment out there when you don't have to? Because what if something go out there and happen to him, knock on wood? Like we just talked about Aaron Rodgers. Like, what if he go out there and something happen to him like Joe Burrow? That would be talking about catastrophic. We'll be for sure behind the 8 ball. So I don't know. It's the same thing. Like, he's number one. Why don't you put him out there because he's number one? Well, because we don't have to. Usually when teams do that, that's because they don't have no one else on the roster. And according to y'all, we got the best backup that's supposed to be starting. And then we got Kirk Cousins, a quarterback that we know has already done it. So even if, for whatever reason y'all seem to think that he's going to fall off a cliff or not perform, then AOC can come in. So that's how you protect your $53 million investment. Instead of just sticking him out there hoping he can catch fire. Because that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's not how that works. And Joe Burrow probably the closest one to it in recent history, other than Mahomes. And Mahomes waited. He didn't start till like week 10, week 9.
think it was.
They thought Aaron Rodgers was, huh? What'd you say?
So I think it was longer than that.
Yeah, it might have been. I try to underestimate just in case somebody try to argue it back, and then they'd be like, well, actually, it was week 12, 13. I'll be like, well, that was even worse. That even makes my argument even stronger.
Mm-hmm.
He said they thought Aaron Rodgers would play the whole season 2 years ago. He played 2 snaps. You never know in the NFL. Yeah, man, that happens, but that's rare. Here we go. The hypothetical. Wait. So why can't we throw Mendoza out there? If it's week 6 or 7, that's when they threw AOC to the fire, and he's not ready. By then, he's a problem. No. Stop trying. AOC don't compare. Nobody protecting AOC from getting on the field. Matter of fact, they probably need to because every time he get on the field, he get hurt. Like, bro, like I don't get this. Like, I don't understand how you thinking that we should treat Mendoza the same way we should treat AOC. Like AOC don't deserve. Do you not know AOC was not drafted to become the starter quarterback? He was drafted to be a backup. He wasn't drafted to be the franchise or the potential franchise. Like he doesn't have potential franchise written all over him. Like, no, man. And plus, AOC wasn't thrown out there. He played out of necessity. They didn't just throw him out there. They was like, look, all right, it's your turn. We ain't got, hey. And he showed out a little bit. And that's why he still got a job. You was about to say something?
No, I'm just saying that's exactly what they did to Aiden O'Connell. They threw him out there and said, good luck. and then after that, that's when they was like, oh well, let's go ahead and make this a competition.
But you notice that they kept bringing in quarterbacks, though. They kept bringing in quarterbacks starting over him while he's on the roster. Even this year with this regime, they brought in 2 quarterbacks.
Yep.
Those 7 cover every position twice. That's nice. So that's why I'm with your lineup, but that mean Burford is an odd man out. Here we go. They didn't wait for the team to be ready before they threw Aiden O'Connell in there. That's because he's not a franchise caliber quarterback. Like quarterbacks don't get perfect. This is a unique situation. So you gotta handle it uniquely. It's unique that you get a number 1 pick and you can get the Heisman Trophy winner, undefeated season, national championship player. AOC ain't none of them things. So, like, well, why do you think they're going to set the table up right for him? No, you need to prove you even a starting quarterback in this league.
I don't get how that makes sense. What backup is prepared?
Because he don't think he a backup. He thinks he a starter.
Oh, okay.
He think AOC is a starter. And AOC thinks he a starter too. Or he said that. But he probably do think that, which is cool. But I know that he's not a starter in the NFL. Can he start in the NFL? Yeah, but he's not a starter. Not up until this point right now. He's not a starter up until this point. Because we keep trying to compare him to players that's already been playing a full season without being hurt before. AOC has never done that. So why are we comparing these two? You can't compare where you don't compete. Like, I'm confused. That's why it seems like I'm hating on him, because I'm confused. Like, when I started trying to measure out what makes a quarterback a good quarterback, the very first thing on the list is not the ability to not get injured. Because as a quarterback, a starting quarterback, the way you come off the field is when you get knocked out the game. And I don't need you to be getting knocked out the game every other year or every year. Because let's look at Mahomes. He got toe up his ankle and the whole nine, right? And you see how he worked through that and they won a championship. Didn't they win the Super Bowl because of that? Boy was running on that ankle and everything. Because he's a champion and he's a franchise quarterback. AOC don't show us that kind of grit. His grit come from being pushed from behind late, and he landed on his knee. He almost had to get airlifted out of there with the air chance. And then he was like, "Oh no, psych, I'm all right." And then he come back and then fall on the other knee. Then he out 4 weeks or something to that degree. And then so he missed hella games, or a couple games, or a few games, or a handful of games, or whatever you want to call it. And then the next year, when he got a chance to beat out Geno Smith, because y'all think he can beat Geno Smith, then the fool break his wrist. He don't break his finger like most quarterbacks do when they hit a helmet. This boy broke his whole wrist. Because the boy injury prone. He's what the French call fragile. Sorry. I'm sorry. Parham is already gone. So he's on the Jets. Oh, that's interesting. So what happens to who in the second year? Mendoza. What happens to Mendoza in the second year? We got 3 more years for him to get it right. And you can say, well, why don't you stick him out there right now? You have 4 more years to get it right. Because we got a quarterback already. That's better than him. That's why I don't understand why y'all keep getting caught up in this. It's quarterback competition. It's not no competition. I try to be real with y'all and tell y'all there's no Santa Claus. But y'all want to be like, oh, there is. I was at the mall and I seen Santa. They said it out their mouth that Santa Claus is in the mall today. Santa Claus is in the mall. Kubiak even said Santa Claus is going to be in the mall. Like, bro, there is no Santa Claus, bro. Sorry. It's no Santa Claus. AOC ain't gonna start here. That's out for sure. And Mendoza is not about to beat Kirk Cousins out. You don't know enough. So if he do come in the second year when we cut bait, that's why I say depending on how well we play, you don't cut bait for Kirk Cousins. Give him another $20 million if we win. If we win 8 games, give him another $20 million. Restructure the contract. He know what it is. And if he win 10 games the following year, guess what? You better hope he get hurt at 40. Because he's gonna keep playing until we gonna rock out. That's what I would do. I wouldn't want to do that, but that's a good problem to have. Because we've been kicking the quarterback thing down the road and had no quarterback. At least we're kicking it down the road now. We actually got a quarterback, and he's only gonna get better the longer he sits. You can even throw him in some games when we blowing out teams or whatever. And the Raider Nation just gonna have to deal with it. Because they're gonna be like, why you put him on the field and don't let him play? Same reason why they was doing that to Aaron Rodgers. Because your best chance to win was with Brett Favre. Until it wasn't. Then they got rid of him. Okay, you ready, bro? You got something to say? Because
look, I love the nation.
Right.
Yeah, but I just see Aiden O'Connell as a backup. Anything outside of that? Can he be a spot starter? Of course. But I see him as a backup. And it seems like this organization sees him the same way.
Right. And only the fans, half of them see him as a starter. Everybody see him as a backup except for him and the start and portion of the fans.
The Mendoza time frame, they're not worried about the years.
Right.
Nobody's going, listen to me. Nobody's going to trip if Mendoza is here for 15 years that he didn't play that first year. Anybody tripping on Mahomes right now? Right. Not playing his first year? I know Mahomes is not number one overall, but he's a franchise quarterback, right? And we're hoping that Mendoza is a franchise quarterback.
Well, I think sitting him for a year is going to prevent him from injury. Is going to protect him from injury. He can slip and fall in the shower and hit his head. Like, you can't prevent something totally, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, you will. You won't get hurt on the field if he ain't on it. There's a
lot of things that Mendoza has to get that a lot of people are neglecting or not realizing that it's an important factor. When reports are saying that he's working on his footwork, the basics, not how you throw the ball, but your footwork. If you're, and that's just with any sport. Like, I coach basketball, and I tell kids all the time, if you don't set your feet, you might as well not shoot.
All right.
Because if your feet are not, in its right place, everything's off. And we don't need Mendoza out there with bad footwork trying to figure things out while bullets are flying.
Right.
What does everybody do when they're rushed? You go back to your old ways.
You resort to your old ways, but in this case, he don't have any old ways because he haven't done it. See, that's the difference between him and Justin Herbert. Like Rebel, I heard you say like they're in trouble if they try to change his footwork. Like, that don't apply to him like that, because
he doesn't have any footwork.
Worst case scenario, he can always rely on what he already knew, which him, safe to a certain level. Now, if he decides to be cognitive of the stuff that he's working with his footwork, then he can only get better. Now, in Mendoza's case, he don't even know the footwork yet. He don't even know the steps yet. He's just now learning those. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, because they're not breaking bad habits. Because bad habits are, harder to break. But what we know about Justin Herbert is he's already accomplished with certain level of footwork the way it is. So even if he resorts to his bad habits, he still can survive. We don't know if Mendoza can survive off his instinct, which I would doubt. So he don't have it at all, so they got to teach him that. That's why I'm like, he can't beat Cousins on the footwork alone, the lack of footwork alone. Not to mention, you don't know all the plays, you don't know the nuances, you ain't even seen the whole playbook. So Cousins can learn that playbook in about, a week, and it's going to take Mendoza a month. And he's going to have to ask Kirk Cousins questions. But y'all telling me he going to outplay him, though. That don't even make sense.
He's gonna figure out footwork and coverage,
and line up,
and throw the ball with accuracy. He's gonna do all of that. I hope so.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work, bro.
The footwork for Mendoza, and I'm not saying that Mendoza's just like this, this uncoordinated giraffe or anything like that. I'm not saying
That's
that at all.
AOC. That's AOC.
That's neither here or there. But
I'm sorry.
if he does not get the footwork, then he's going to struggle. And we don't need that. And because we have the opportunity to allow him to get everything that he needs along with the footwork and, learning how to read NFL coverages and all of that, and the nuances, the signal to Jack Bech to change his route because that they're running X and Y coverage. And in order for this play to work, Jack Bech needs to not run a dig but a comeback. He needs to learn all that. Remember, the quarterback is the orchestrator of the offense. He needs to know the ins and outs because he needs to get them in and out of plays. And I don't know, this for sure, but I guarantee you that there's some type of audible. So he has to perfect all that. Not saying that he won't get it, but us trying to rush him out there, it ain't going to help. Especially because we don't have to. We really don't have to.
Right. And that's the thing. We don't have to. But y'all keep wanting to because y'all want to. But we don't have to. So we're not. It says, my thing was, I said, because he's not a franchise caliber quarterback. But Josh McDaniels thought so. That's why he drafted him. We didn't draft him thinking he was going to be no franchise quarterback. And even if he did, since when we trust his judgment? You trust his judgment? That's what you hanging your hat on the Josh McDaniels tree? Yeah, if you climb that tree, you're going to fall out, for real. So you're saying that Kirk Cousins get hurt, you want to see AOC now. If it's before the trade deadline, yes. If it's before the trade deadline, yes. He's been a starter. What do you mean? For 9 games his rookie season, I think he started 10 games. He went 5-5. I think he played a total of 11 games. So, okay, he went 5-5 his rookie year. That's good. That's a lot of experience. But he's regressed since then. He got hurt. Then he got hurt again, and he played a whole year. Then come in the last game of the season, didn't do nothing that game. Like, he's regressed. Like, had he got better from his 5-5 campaign as a rookie, then I can see your argument, but he's regressed. The only reason why he's even in the conversation is because he did that. That's the only reason why. Frank Webb says, confidence is my number one for QB, and ALC saying that, showing me a confidence attitude. Yeah, you can be confident all you want, but if your ability don't allow you to be something, your confidence ain't going to make up for it. I'm sorry. Confidence comes from success, not because you saying it. That's what true confidence comes from. Confidence comes from you win 5 games and lose 5 games as a rookie, right? You're confident coming into the next year that you might be able to get better. But then if you get injured and then you don't, then you still have confidence that you have the ability to do it. So you come in the next year and then you get injured for the whole year. And then you come back that 3rd year after that and then say, I want to be a long-term starter in this league. The reason why you have that confidence is because you went 5-5 as a rookie. Now, had he not went 5-5 as a rookie and just been saying that all along, we'd have thought AOC was delusional. Because what are you basing it off of? Because you just feel that way? So confidence is key. Trust me, but availability is the top thing. Number one, that's number one. The availability. He had the same injury as Brock Bowers. No, I think Brock Bowers had a knee sprain or whatever. He had a thigh bruise and a knee sprain or something. But either way it goes, you're comparing. Okay, so all right, and even in Brock Bowers, they should have sat him out too. They should have sat Brock Bowers out.
That was a Pete Carroll call because Pete Carroll was hanging on to threads for his job. And in order for him to win games, he needed to have all his best players out there.
Yeah, you're right about that. His job was looking real bleak, Memphis bleak right there. And Brock Bowers had a PCL injury, sprain, and a bone bruise in his knee. So with that PCL injury, they were supposed to sit him on that with that sprain. They, like I said, it could have been. They lucky he didn't tear it. They lucky right there. And then they brought him back talking about he gonna wear a brace. I already knew that was bad. Like unless he was about to play one game or two games, that just don't make no sense. You gotta let it heal. So their injury's not even the same.
I think it was a done deal when not necessarily the brace situation, but when Brock Bowers said that he didn't feel comfortable in the brace. Because it's one thing if you know what I'm saying, if you got the brace and you can get by, you know what I'm saying, or I'm okay, you know what I'm saying. But he said that, you know what I'm saying, at the podium that he didn't feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying, in the brace. And when as a player, when you're injured and you don't feel comfortable on whatever that injury is, it's not going to produce. That's why they, a lot of guys when they come back from injury, they it's not necessarily the physical aspect, but it's more of, can I cut like I used to cut? You know what I'm saying? And if they have that doubt instead of just going ahead and cutting it anyway, yeah, it does damage to them.
Yeah, but that wasn't the situation Brock Bowers was in. He wasn't coming back from the injury and then they slapped the brace on there. They slapped the brace on there to keep it from being injured more. Because he wasn't even healed yet when they put that on. They put that on as a precautionary to avoid it getting injured even more because he was almost quote unquote back from injury.
Yeah, but go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I agree with you. It's not necessarily in that case, but I'm talking about whether it was after the injury or during the injury. If he didn't feel comfortable making those cuts and, you know what I'm saying, doing what he was doing before, you know what I'm saying, then he's not gonna get the production. And you could tell, like, if you watch Brock Bowers when he did have that brace, he was not dipping down low, you know what I'm saying, in his breaks. You know what I'm saying? His routes weren't as crisp as they used to be. You know what I'm saying? And it was all because he really didn't have trust in that brace.
Yeah, because his knee was weak. His knee was weak. He needed that brace, but he needed not to play. That's what it all really boiled down to.
Facts.
Because even if he felt good, the moment he tried to cut or somebody else hit him again, it would have been a wrap. He wouldn't have sprained it that time. It would have been torn for sure. So can I tell you what games that he got injured in and how long he was out of those games? So do you not know? So do you not know he was out all last year except for the last game? Do you not remember that? Let's start there. Can we agree with that before I go into the year before that when he missed like at least 4 games? But before we go into that, can we Can we agree that he was out all last year? Can we agree to that? Except for the last game of the season. Mind you, he got hurt in preseason, though. So I don't know what you're trying to justify, but justify that part first. Let's start with the most recent thing. He was out all year except for the last week. And he played 3 quarters. Terribly, I might add. But that's neither here nor there. Can you tell me what are we trying to justify when he was out all year last year? From the preseason. This is a good point. I'm not worried about Mendoza getting physically hurt. I am worried about his spirit being broken. And that guy right there is the comment of the evening. Because for some reason, that's going above everybody's head. Like, they think that just because you're a number one player that you're supposed to be a number one player in the NFL, and that's not how that works. I just heard Tom Brady said that today. I don't think he said it today, but I heard him say it today. And I needed to clip that because this is for the people that were saying that if he's number one, he should play. And Tom Brady was saying people, mostly fans, and that's the point I've been trying to get y'all to understand is y'all sound like fans. Mostly fans believe that just because you're number one, then you automatically number one. You should be playing automatically. No, there's a development. And that's what Tom Brady kept saying. It's a development. But I'm going to get that for y'all. We the people, what's good with you? Nate said, I could see them putting him on the shorter injured reserve if they are trying to manipulate the roster and start the season.
That's a possibility.
That's a loophole, right?
I mean, there's a way that you can manipulate the roster for sure. But yeah.
That's a lot of ifs. Okay, AE said, what's your guys' floor and ceiling for the season record? I'll go first. My floor is 6 games, and my ceiling is probably like 9. Because if we win 10 games, then Mendoza, you might as well get comfortable.
I predicted 5. I'm calling that my floor. And I'll say 10 the ceiling.
Oof. That's crucial.
But it's going to require for everything to come together. That O-line has to be right. That means Genty's going to be running well. And then that means Rob Leonard's defense actually does what it needs to do in regards to his new scheme. Because, again, this is a new defensive scheme that they're running.
Let's see. Steven Martinez says, I wouldn't mind Diggs to the Raiders. He's still out there beating top corners, getting first downs at his age. And our young guys could learn some things from him. Yeah, well, how to have a baby mama? How to have women troubles? That boy, it's not his play that was my issue, because if it was just that, I would have said we should have been signed him. We need him in camp. It's the baggage that come with him. That's the thing I have an issue with. I like him as a player. But when you're a rookie and all your teammates say you the one player that they would not want to date their sister, and you the dude that's most in touch with their feminine side, that can't be good. And then fast forward all these years later, come to find out you really is that problem child. Talk about they don't even know me like that. They know you like that.
There's a and this is a different sport, but it's the analogy still stands true. There's a reason why Steph Curry had Draymond Green. There's a reason why Dennis Rodman was with Jordan. When you look at those teams, everybody else was good. Everybody else wasn't a problem. Everybody else held their own. So you were able to take a knucklehead. We ain't got that. Remember, we're starting from the bottom, and we still there.
Yes, yeah, we're still there.
So
Frank Webb says playing ballers was a selfish coaching move at that point, and they took advantage of that young man's enthusiasm. Yeah, and like Juan said, shoot, that man went out there and said he win 10 games and we was gonna win a bunch of games, and he selfishly put Brock Bowers back on the field. And I agree, he shouldn't have. I knew in the moment because I sprained my knee like that, and I was like, you ain't coming back in a couple weeks, bro, like that. So I agree. Webb say list the quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame who didn't sit. I'll wait. That's a good one right there. That's a good one right there because I don't know what's the rush of that's having to hurry up and play, bro. I don't get it.
I can tell you the quarterbacks that either are a Hall of Famer and
they did sit
or going to be a Hall of Famer and did
right.
sit. I can give you a big list of those.
Yeah. So that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote, y'all. Well, to my boy Rebel, man. But I'm gonna get that information for you, bro. I'm about to tell you what games AOC was hurt and how many games he was out. And let me ask my friend at Artificial Intelligence real quick. So sometimes you gotta double check them. Hold on.
Yeah, pretty much every Niner quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Joe Montana, Steve Young, all them cats. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Or Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. I'll say it like that. Thomas Brady. Patricia Mahomes.
Patricia. Patty. Patty. What's going on, Patty? So here you go, man. 2024, Aiden O'Connell suffered 2 notable injuries with the Raiders. He had a broken thumb. He injured during Week 7 against the Rams. He was placed on IR. He missed 5 games. So this boy get hurt. He be out for a long time. Then he missed 5 games, Week 8 through 12. And he returned to play in Week 13 after being out for about 5 weeks. So then 2025 and this that ain't even including when he hurt his knee, right? I'm about to see how bad is that because he came back the next week, I think. He did come back the next week after he looked like he's about to get airlifted. And then he broke his thumb, I guess. But in 2025, he broke his wrist. He injured in the preseason finale against the Cardinals. He missed the first 10 games of the regular season on IR and was out for nearly 3 months. So that's 2 injuries.
Antsy after throwing a pass and had to be carted off the field in an air cast. Initial fears pointed to a season-ending injury, but tests revealed it was only a bone bruise in his left knee. Remarkably, he did not miss any games and practiced fully the following week. As for a second knee injury, he hasn't suffered another one in the NFL. You might be thinking /joint injuries, as he later suffered a broken wrist in the 2025 preseason.
Superman, that one out. So he's been hurt twice, man. Missed 5 games, and then he missed 10 games. So he essentially missed a whole season worth of injuries. So he's played a season worth of games, had a season worth of injuries, and he sat on the bench for like a season. Career backup. Someone needs to give that boy some calcium supplements. He needs some milk. Yeah, he do, because that boy, but maybe he don't get hurt this year, though. But if he on the field playing, that means something went wrong. I'm telling y'all. That's all I'm saying. If he's on the field, that means something went wrong.
Yeah.
Well, brother, you got a word for us? It could be short and sweet. You know, it's a late nighter right now. Ain't no telling what they're doing right now.
Give me a quick second, man.
Okay.
Here you go.
Oh, I don't take long.
The time is now. The time is now. That dream that you've been sitting on, take a step towards that. Send that email. Talk to someone that can help you get to that thing you dreamed of. The time is now. Stop procrastinating. And the reason why that you keep getting that dream, because you keep getting that vision, is because God is telling you time is now. And that I got your back. So the time is now. Start writing that book. Whatever it is, write that song. Whatever it is, stop procrastinating. The time is now.
Yeah, procrastination is something else, boy. And that's nothing more than a distraction. All you got to do is just take one step forward, and then some things will become clearer to you, and then just take another step forward. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. One love to the nation.
I'm a Raider, from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. Recipes to Al Davis.